Welcome to the BlueCollarBaddies podcast. This is episode number 28.
This episode is sponsored by TheStoicPearl, supporting and empowering women in the trades.
Today we're here with Katie, and tell me what you do.
So, I drive truck, but I'm also a heavy equipment operator now as well.
Yeah.
They still got me driving truck.
Yeah.
Because apparently me and my best friend are the only ones with CDLs on the project right now.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one with tankers, so I get stuck driving the water truck when they need it.
Right. So how did you originally get involved?
So the truck driving side, it was just genetics.
Yeah.
My grandpa on my dad's side was a truck driver. My dad was a truck driver.
Nice.
So
It's bound to happen.
Exactly. And it was just one of those ways that, I tried working regular jobs to take care of my kids.
Yeah.
And I guess it's the curse of chasing the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And just got back into trucking. And then my best friend got on with this company doing heavy equipment operating.
Okay.
And brought me on at the beginning of the year.
Nice.
And I love it.
Yeah. So how long have you been trucking?
Oh, so pretty much my entire life, if you count riding in the trucks with, dad and whatnot. But when my son was about 1, I decided to get my own CDL.
Sweet.
And I didn't want to be, just the typical go and get it.
Yeah.
Because where we were living at the time, everybody had a CDL. It was super easy to get a CDL, Just know somebody with a truck, go take your test.
Right.
But I decided that I wanted to prove that I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I think it was like 2012, I Googled the toughest places to get your CDL.
Dang.
And Oklahoma was in the top 5.
Really?
And so I enrolled in truck driving school.
Mm-hmm.
There was about 30 of us in the class. And it was a 3-week course. And tested in Tulsa.
Okay.
It was me and one other dude.
Dang.
We were the only ones to get our CDL.
Really?
And graduate.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
it was definitely...
Yeah.
It was like kind of bragging rights and to prove that I could do it.
Right.
And I couldn't be underestimated kind of deal.
Hell yeah. That's cool. Well, so that was at like a VOTEC kind of deal?
It was the Roadmasters driving school.
Okay.
They're now owned by Werner.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
When you graduate, they want you to go work for a mega carrier.
Right.
And I didn't go work for a mega carrier.
Yeah.
I started off running local around the state kind of deal.
That's cool. I mean, especially if you got kids, you can't be doing all that over the road, gone all week kind of stuff.
I unfortunately did get pulled into that for a while.
A little bit, yeah.
But when I first had my CDL, first couple of jobs, my son could come with me.
That's cool.
And so he rode in the truck with me. And
nice.
So it was definitely fun bringing him along. He would, hang out in the sleeper when he was little. And then when I had to drive day cab, and I put him in the car seat and everything, he'd look in the back, oh, where's the bed, Mom?
Yeah. Where's my playpen?
Exactly.
What about the heavy equipment part? How long have you been doing that?
So I used to do front end loader with a couple of those local jobs where I had to load myself, but that was, years ago. But I started at the beginning of the year actually doing heavy equipment, focusing on that.
Yeah. Did you have to take any training for that, or you just...
My best friend actually trained me.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So he was the one that got me on, and he's like, I'll train you because I'll train you the right way.
Nice.
I rode with him for 3 days in the haul truck. Yeah. And my body was going muscle memory. Like I was back in a Peterbilt. Yeah. And so his method of training was grab a glove and slap my hand with the glove just to keep me not driving like that. Right. But at the end of 3 days, I was on my own, keeping up with him. And now he's unofficial head haul truck driver, and I'm second.
Oh, cool.
So we kind of keep everybody in line and set the pace and everything.
That's awesome.
So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you love it.
Yes, I love it a lot better than driving truck.
Yeah.
And then they just said in a meeting one day who has CDLs.
Right.
And him and I raised our hands, and he's like, okay, now who has a tanker? And I was the only one with a tanker.
Dang. That's pretty cool, though.
So when it gets really dusty, and they need help with the dust control, I get wrangled into driving the water truck.
Right. What did you originally think you were going to do, like, growing up?
I wanted to be a vet.
Yeah.
I actually started going to vet school.
Nice.
And was working towards it and everything. Actually was working on vet degree, history degree. Also got my physical therapy. Like, I was trying like everything.
Yeah.
Trying not to get into a truck. And, life happened. I needed to be able to take care of my kids.
Right.
And do it like comfortably.
Yeah.
And so I just kept getting pulled into the truck. And then, then it was like driving truck in the oil field. You got the money there.
Yeah.
And it was just the curse of chasing the dollar.
Yeah. At least you love it, though. Like, you're not just stuck there.
Yeah, like, I love my job now.
Yeah.
I won't go back to driving truck.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Honestly.
Right.
It's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
It's too cutthroat. You're not making that money like you were before COVID.
I bet, yeah.
Same with the patch. Working in the patch, did 5 years in it. After COVID, the rates suck.
Yeah.
But here, heavy equipment operating, I make more than I did driving truck.
That's awesome.
And you actually come with benefits.
Yeah.
You don't get benefits driving truck.
Right.
And so now I got benefits to take care of my kids better.
That's cool. If you were to start from the beginning in a totally different trade, what do you think it would have been? Like, knowing everything you know now.
Honestly, I think I would still end up
where you are
doing what I'm doing now after, nice. Like I told my kids, I'm like, you've seen me go to school for like this degree and this degree.
Yeah.
And I'd get this close to graduating and getting my degree, and then life happened.
Right.
And I'd get pulled right back into the truck. Mm-hmm. I was like, you see me like try different careers and trying to find something that wasn't blue collar.
Yeah.
And now here I am operating heavy equipment, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it at all.
It's just where you belong.
Exactly.
So what do you think would be your favorite, like, can't live without it tool?
So me and my son were actually talking about this on the way here.
Yeah.
When I got my first over-the-road gig, and I actually had to, go over the road, out of state kind of deal, my dad gave me a crescent.
Oh, yeah.
A crescent wrench, and it was about a foot, a little over a foot on, so one of those big ones. Mm-hmm. And he's like, carry this with you when you're doing your pre-trip, when you're checking your tires, looking it all over. That way, if somebody sneaks up behind you, you got a head thumper.
Dang, that's good advice.
And so, every truck I drove, every outfit I pulled for, I took that crescent with me.
That's cool.
And then my dog.
Yeah.
I would not drive if they didn't allow dogs. That dog had to come with me.
Makes sense.
And
need
so
some company.
he is my protection
Yeah.
and my company.
That's
so
cool.
Those are the two things that I would not drive without. Or
yeah.
He can't go in the machine with me now because it's too
Right.
tall and too big for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I still take that crescent with me.
That's cool. So you mentioned, like, going back out of blue collar jobs here and there. Do you think there's anything you've missed out on by not having a typical career?
So the main reason why I kept trying to get out of blue collar, like I've tried white collar, I've dispatched for companies,
Okay.
I've brokeraged,
Yeah.
I've managed truck companies, I've tried all of that, trying to be home with the kids,
Yeah.
home every night, weekends off, whatever. That way I could be there more for the kids instead of, being able to take them with me and then giving them a break and
Right.
they're not coming with me kind of deal. This heavy equipment job, they actually get to come with me.
Okay.
Not on the job side, but I still come home every night to them.
Right.
Still have it weekends off, to spend time with them.
Nice.
And that was the main thing that I was always trying to get.
Right.
Was time with the kids.
Makes sense.
Being a single parent, you know, you don't want to miss out on that.
For sure.
And you don't want them growing up going, Mom was gone all the time.
Yeah.
Mom was never around.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want them to grow up resenting you.
True.
So I was always trying to find a way to be there, be present.
It's good though that you found the like happy medium of having both.
Yeah.
Any embarrassing job site stories you have?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Me and my best friend and one of our buddies, we like to tell this story a lot. It was in the patch, driving pneumatics, hauling frac sand. I took like some time off because I ended up getting COVID during COVID.
Yeah.
And so I was out of the truck for at least 6-7 months, somewhere around there.
Wow.
Because it hit me hard.
Yeah.
And I needed to get back in the truck making some money, you know? And when you're hauling pneumatics, when you get backed into the silos to start unloading, my buddies and my best friend, you know, they hooked up the hose to the silo and everything. And you got to hook up a hot hose. Goes from your trailer to your truck to push that air into your trailer so it comes out and pushes that sand. And so I completely, like, apparently forgot everything.
Yeah.
And I forgot to hook up my hot hose. I started the PTO. I go back, I'm looking at my gauges, and I'm like, why am I not building pressure?
Oh, no.
Like, what is going on here? Like, I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Yeah.
And I happen to look over, and my best friend and her buddy's like this. And all of a sudden, dunk. When I fired up that PTO and started building that pressure, it shot the lid off.
Oh my gosh.
Up into the air.
Dang.
And that's why they were like looking. Because they were waiting for it to fall down, and it landed like right at her feet. And that's when I was like, oh.
Oops.
So I just shut everything down, hook up the hot hose, start all back over again. And so we like to tell that story about the time that I forgot.
You just lost your mind.
I completely forgot everything.
That's funny.
No more breaks. That's what the joke was. No more breaks.
Do you have any, like, I mean, you know, a lot of times we're out there in the dirt and the wind and the sweat, and do you have any skincare or hair care tips that have helped you out?
So when I guess the working in the patch thing, because that's what I loved doing when I was driving a truck, was working in the patch, hauling frac sand. It took me a while to figure all of this out because there was not hardly a lot. I think I saw like a handful of women my whole time in the patch.
Right.
And I figured out you're not always going to have a porta-john that's clean for women, or, you know, you don't have to wear a respirator just to go and use.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I always carried with me, it was like a shiwi.
Oh, okay.
That way I could go to, like, close my curtains, go to the bathroom. But also exfoliating, like the facial cleanser wipes or whatever, because like it would get dirty on those sites and sweaty and hot and everything when you shut down for the night or the day, because I preferred working nights. If I stopped somewhere and they didn't have a shower at the truck stop or whatever, I would scrub myself down with those exfoliating. And it would help with the breakouts and that dirty, nasty feeling. Yeah. And then the dry shampoo.
Oh, yeah.
But those were the three things that I always brought with me.
Nice.
Just so that way I always felt clean and I didn't want to crawl into bed feeling nasty and gritty. And no.
For sure. Yeah. What about, like, I think a lot of girls struggle with finding deodorants that work because we're just always... Do you have any that you would recommend? So,
on locations, it would be like 30 to 40 degrees hotter on location than it would like out on the road. Oh. So like if it was, 100 degrees outside waiting on the lease road, it'd be 130, 140 on location.
Right.
And men's deodorant, the Old Spice.
Oh, really?
Gentlemen's. It had to be the gentlemen's. That was a deodorant that worked in the body spray. because like it wasn't getting that like feeling, and
right.
that's what I still use, and you know that's what I recommend is men's deodorant.
Whatever works.
Because I went through everything, trying everything.
Yeah.
But men's deodorant was the one that worked.
So do you work out to like keep up your strength, or your job is pretty much?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the job, even driving truck and doing what I'm doing now, you know, you're climbing.
Right.
Up trailers, up into the cab, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know, you do a lot of climbing. So I do, you know, just light exercises in the morning, like some push-ups and squats.
Okay.
Take the dog for a walk just to get my blood pumping.
Right.
That way I'm not driving to work, you know, half asleep.
Yeah.
And then, like, we do a bend and stretch.
Okay.
With our morning meetings.
Oh.
And so they're really big on, like, physical well-being, mental well-being.
That's awesome.
So we do a bend and stretch. I take the dog for like a mile-long walk when I get back. And then work also has a gym membership discount.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can get, like, if you've got the energy.
Yeah.
You can go to the gym.
Yeah.
They also came out with this thing now where they pay for like an exercise app.
Oh.
So like if you had, and it's also like physical therapy exercises.
Huh.
So like, you know, if you got neck pain, back pain, or whatever, you log into that app, tell it like what you're feeling that day, where the pain is, what the pain is, and they give you exercises and stretches that last like 15 minutes.
That's
and
cool.
It works all that loose.
Yeah.
And they help with chiropractic care.
Dang.
And stuff like that, so I take advantage of all that.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, it sounds like you're under good company then.
Oh yeah,
A lot of them just are like, here you go, bye.
Yeah, I'm planning on staying with them for a long time.
Yeah, that's cool. So what do you think has been the biggest struggle, just being a woman in a male-dominated field?
That in itself.
Yeah.
You know, this company that I work for now, they celebrate women and appreciate women. Like they have a whole month dedicated to women in construction.
Dang.
And they're all about, you know, helping the women, you know, promoting women, taking care of them.
That's really cool.
You know, helping them succeed. But before that, it was definitely, you know, making your way in a male-dominated industry.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why I did the whole CDL testing the way I did. Is, you know, got to prove myself.
Right.
And, you know, as long as you're respectful, you don't play the I'm a woman card.
Yeah.
That gets you in trouble a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you show that you're willing to put that work in, learn, listen, you know, do the best you can, be safe about it.
Right.
Usually I wouldn't have any issues. I did run into like some managers or bosses or co-workers that were, you know, you're a woman, you need to stay barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. I got told that quite a bit, and that, that irritated me.
Yeah, I bet.
One company, I was their only literal female truck driver.
Dang.
And they were kind of like using me as a token girl.
Jeez.
And I hated it.
Yeah.
And me and the boss would butt heads a lot about it. But, you know, I ended up with my best friend, you know, a group of guys that always had my back.
Nice.
Because I proved myself. You know, I showed that I wasn't going to play the I'm a woman card. I'm fragile. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, and I earned the respect.
That's awesome.
So I think as long as you show that you're there to be safe and learn and listen.
Get shit done.
Exactly. Exactly. You shouldn't have any issues. But even in trucking, it's still very, like, male dominated. They don't want to see women out there kind of deal. I know there's women out there. I just never really ran into any.
Yeah.
And in the patch, like I said, I only saw like a handful of women, and they didn't last near as long as me.
Yeah.
Like maybe I think the longest one I saw was about a month.
Dang.
But other than that, they did not stick around very long.
Yeah.
So it was definitely kind of like, where's my woman?
Yeah.
Where's my? I want a friend.
Right.
And then you'd see somebody, and you're like, hi, friend.
Yeah.
And they would be, you know, snooty and snotty, and it's
that's
like,
the worst. Like when you run into another female on the job site, we should be besties.
Well, like I had one, it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Like, that's what kind of made me like, I'm just going to stick to myself.
Right.
Not like cause any, and I don't want any, no. I'm just going to stick to myself. Me and my dog will find the corner of the truck stop where nobody parks.
Yeah.
Or the staging area, you know, and we'll be by ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm not doing no drama.
Right. Yeah. Especially at work, like that's just too much.
Yeah, especially when it's like not only involved, like when they're trying to interfere with your work, but then your safety as well. That's when I have an issue.
For sure.
So it was right after I joined that one company that I didn't know was an oil field company.
Oh yeah.
And I have my dog with me. And it's a company of like 170, like almost 200 trucks at the time.
Dang.
Like, we were the top dogs, you know, in Oklahoma for oil field. There was one other woman that worked in the company as a driver. She was used to getting all the attention.
Yeah.
You know, she was one of those. And she didn't like that, you know, another woman came in. You know, I was just trying to be friendly, trying to figure out, like, how am I going to navigate this old oil field thing? Right. So, like, you know, I would talk to the old timers. You know, other people come up, give me hints, tips, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, I was being friendly, respectful, you know, buying the old timers coffee and being like, okay, can you teach me some more, give me some more tips, you know, stuff like that. But I was still staying to myself. Me and the dog would still stay to ourselves no matter what, because I don't want drama. Yeah. And she started spreading a rumor that I would give truck visits for $20 a pop.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, one of the buddies at the time, you know, that was helping me and everything, he told me about that rumor. And you know, it kind of upset me.
Yeah,
because it's like, I stick to myself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not out here trying to get attention. I'm not shaking my ass.
That's wild.
Like, going, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
You know, like she does. And so, like, I thought if I kept sticking to myself, staying in the back of the truck stop or the corner, you know, I'd be left alone. People would start getting the hint that I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
One day, we were all kind of like waiting around for the wells to kick off, loads to come through, you know, and stuff like that. I was in the front seat smoking a cigarette. The dog was laying, you know, between the seats, like he always does. And this guy walked up. He was another driver for the company. And he started off the conversation asking me about this certain well. You know, how to get there, where the staging pad was, you know, that kind of deal. Okay, I'll tell you what I know because I've already been there. You know, I don't mind helping you out. Well, I started smelling the alcohol. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't be drinking, you know.
Driving a truck.
Exactly. Even if you're on your break or whatever. Whatever. Well, apparently he had liquid courage because he's like, oh, you owe me a truck visit.
Oh my gosh.
And so he like tried getting in my truck, like you know, trying to open the door, break the window, you know, everything like that. I had my CB on, and I just automatically grabbed it and started hollering, help, help, help.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm trying to like get away from the door because I can't hold the door no more. He's stronger than me. And the window is down, and next thing, like, I'm reaching for a knife.
Yeah.
I'm reaching for like anything to protect myself. And next thing I know, my dog, he's a purple healer.
Oh.
My dog launches over me because, like, I was falling in between the seats. He launched over me out the window.
Holy cow.
And pinned the guy in the parking lot.
Dang.
And, like, other drivers, you know, heard help, help, help. They saw the commotion, so they started running over. Cops got called. The guy ran off to his truck. I grabbed my dog, put him back in the truck, and when the cops finally got the dude to come out of the truck, he was wearing a hard hat and his skivvies and fire extinguisher, saying, you ain't taking me alive.
Oh my gosh.
And he tried pressing charges on me because he said the dog ate his face off.
Oh my gosh.
So my dog got the reputation as face eater. And with all the TikToks that I was making and everything like that, people in the past, like, didn't matter what company I was working for. You know, I always had the dog somewhere in the video. Yeah. Like, showing the truck, you know, so people kind of had an idea.
Right.
And you'd be on the lease road or the truck stop or something, and somebody would get on the CV. Oh no, there goes TruckinMomma. Don't go near that truck. You don't know where that dog is.
That's funny.
Because after that, the dog was like, ain't nobody getting near Mama. Ain't nobody getting near the truck.
That's awesome.
And so everybody had like, okay, you see that truck, you don't know where that dog is.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere near it. And so like you'd have people like, you know, like new guys.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to ask me like a question about like where the well was, their staging pad or whatever, and you'd see them like kind of like gingerly like looking at the truck like, I heard rumors.
Yeah.
I saw the TikToks. Where's the dog?
That's funny.
And so that's why I always took the dog with me.
Right.
But my son loves that story.
Yeah.
And so he wanted me to share that one about the face eater.
That's awesome. I mean, it's insane that somebody would have the guts to even, God, it's like disgusting to me.
It is. It's like, and I don't know, like I ran into more of that in trucking.
Yeah.
But then like once my best friend and I were like, people know that we were like together
Mm-hmm.
and like we were a package deal kind of deal,
Right.
you know, people started leaving me alone. You know, and then the group of guys that always had my back,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people will start leaving me alone, not making those comments no more.
Right.
Not asking for truck visits, you know,
That's
that kind
wild.
of deal.
Golly.
And it doesn't help that there are women
Yeah, that
you
do
know,
that.
that do that, that
Yeah.
want the attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it harder for other women that don't want the drama,
Yeah.
don't want the attention. We just want to work,
Yeah.
you know, make our money. If you know, if you got kids, take care of your kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not out here for drama or issues.
Right.
Just leave us alone.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But it also makes it hard to make friends.
Yeah, for sure.
'Cause it's hard to like know if you can trust somebody.
Mm-hmm. You got to keep your guard up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, so the place you work for now, do they have other women working there?
So on my area, like I just do the dirt work.
Okay.
I don't do like the actual building.
Mm-hmm.
So I like my crew, we just do the dirt work. There's one other woman that operates heavy equipment as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another girl, she's a surveyor.
Okay.
There was another, like there's some
Mm-hmm.
that are heavy equipment operating, but it's still a lot of men.
Yeah.
But you don't near run into that whole I'm a man, you're a woman dominated
Yeah.
kind of ego. You don't
Mm.
run into that with this company.
That's good.
So I like this company
Mhm.
because they value everybody equally.
That's cool. And I feel like it's kind of, we're getting closer, but it's kind of hard to find.
Yes. It took a while.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I want to stay with this company
Right.
is because they do value women. They
For sure.
want women to come in
Mhm.
and work with this company. And so, you know, the incentives are there, the programs are there,
Yeah.
and they want women to stick around.
That's awesome. So if you had any advice for someone either coming out of high school or maybe even later in life they've decided they want to be in a blue collar industry, what's your number one piece of advice?
So I'll use my son as an example.
Mm-hmm.
He always wanted to be, you know, driving a truck like I did.
Yeah.
And so I would show him the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
I let him know everything.
Yeah.
Now he wants to play in the dirt like I do
Mm-hmm.
because he sees the kind of money, the benefits,
Right.
you know, everything like that, and how I enjoy it more. And like I told him, the more you know beforehand, the better off you'll be.
For sure.
Like if you want to get into heavy equipment operating, if you at least know how to operate like a tractor,
Mm-hmm.
a skid steer, you know, something
The
like
easy
that,
stuff.
it'll help you.
Yeah.
Get into it. It'll help you have a better understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Like trucking, find somebody, like either way, find a mentor,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that actually wants to see you succeed
Right.
and do well. You know,
That's good
that way they
advice.
can show you the good, the bad, and the ugly
For sure.
instead of just showing you the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get dragged in by the numbers thinking
Yeah.
that it's going to be like that.
Right.
You know the good, the bad, and the ugly before you get in. That way you know if you mentally, not just
Mhm.
physically, mentally can do it as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a big deal because, you get into something and it's not what you thought it was, and then where do you go?
That's what happened when I joined my first patch company.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just another truck company.
Right.
And next thing I know, I'm following my trainer into a well site, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
And he's like, you didn't know? And I was like, didn't know what? And I was like, I thought I was like going over the road, like all pneumatic, like I got never hauled pneumatic before, but I thought it was like over the road kind of stuff. And he's like, no, honey, you're in the oil patch. That's what I was like, hell. Oh, okay. That's funny. And so I had to like learn by the fly of my pants there on what it was like to be in the oil patch. I had no idea what it was.
I wouldn't either, but I've heard a lot of rough things.
There was a lot of times that I wanted to quit.
I bet, yeah.
Because it was intimidating and everything. But then I met my best friend.
Yeah.
And he kind of like, helped me along.
Nice.
Pushed me along kind of deal. So it helped a lot, having somebody that actually believed in me and helped me.
Makes sense. Yeah, I work for my boyfriend in spray foam, so I'm sure that if he wasn't sometimes like, hey, you're doing that wrong, do it this way instead, I would just be like, I don't think I'm cut out for this.
Yeah, you would have like no idea.
No.
Or like it could be something dangerous.
Yeah, for sure.
You think you're doing it right, and something could happen.
Yeah.
I've seen people like blow their trailer up on the well site because they didn't know what they were doing, or they were just too ignorant.
Right.
That's dangerous.
For sure.
Not only could kill you or hurt you, but people next to you. And even in heavy equipment, you can't go into it cocky.
Right.
You're gonna kill somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
or at the very least, waste a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, like
mess something up.
Like the haul truck, that's over $100,000.
Yeah.
I've seen somebody lay their truck, and that was scary.
Yeah.
Because those trucks are articulated, so only like the bed would flip or the cab would flip. No, this whole thing, it went.
Dang.
And it, just seeing that, put it on perspective.
Right. Yeah.
Anything could happen.
Right.
Anything could happen.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess that's why a lot of job sites need those safety people, because...
Yes. Like, they have their own safety team. They have their own medic team.
Right.
Like, this company takes it all very seriously.
That's good.
So, like, I've been with other truck companies that are like, oh, well, get back out there, take some Tylenol.
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
No benefits at all, they didn't take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
This company, if you smash your finger in the door, get a paper cut, they want to know about it.
Huh. I mean...
They take it very seriously.
That's pretty good.
So it's just one of those things. Have somebody that you trust. Yeah. That believes in you and wants to help you.
That's good. Has your daughter shown any interest in the trades?
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Like she's very techie.
Oh, okay.
She likes coding. She likes building computer programs.
That's cool.
Games, stuff like that. So she's going to be in college, going to tech school, that kind of stuff. She has no interest at all.
I mean, that's cool, though. If you got the smarts to do that kind of thing, you should definitely get after it, because...
Exactly, like...
I can't imagine.
I joke around that she's, in her room hacking away like she's going to take over the world.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, don't put any money in my bank account, because that's too obvious. But, like, fix my credit.
Right.
Eliminate my debt, that kind of stuff. Just don't put any money in my bank account. That's too obvious.
That's funny.
But, like, she's very, very techie.
Yeah.
And she's the one I go to, like, okay, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
Help me through this.
Yeah.
Help me set this up. And she knows it all. She's figured it all out. And, like, she designs video games.
That's awesome.
But... yeah, she has no interest to like carry on the tradition here. My son does, not my daughter.
I mean, that's still cool though.
So I always joke around with them. I'm like, well, at least I don't have 2 college funds I have to save up for. I only have 1.
Yeah.
And that's what this company that I work for too. They just started scholarships for like the kids and grandkids. And so I was like, okay, she's covered.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm going to stick with this company for a while. She's covered. We're good.
For sure. Do you have any like upcoming plans or things you want to learn within your trade?
So I do want to get better.
Yeah.
I've always been one that I wanted to always like see how far I can push myself. Yeah. See how far up the ladder I can climb.
Right.
And, I did it with trucking. I started driving. I did dispatch. I did brokerage. Then I worked my way up to managing fleets.
Oh, dang.
And, started working on, like, college degree to, like, even higher.
Right.
And, So I've always been one to like push myself, see how high, see how far I can get. Like with this company, I'm content, taking my time.
Yeah.
Because, I see what like the foreman go through, and I'm like, that's more stress and everything than managing a fleet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that right now with kids
right.
at home.
Yeah.
So I'm content in just learning, how to be better a haul truck driver, and maybe learning some new equipment.
Right.
But I'm perfectly content driving a haul truck.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome.
So right now I'm just content with taking my time. I'm not my usual self, wanting to push myself.
Well, and like you said, you'll be there for a while. So
Exactly. That that's everything that they offer. How well they take care of their employees. Yeah. That's what makes me want to stay.
That's awesome.
So it's worth it.
Yeah. What about boots, jeans, PPE?
Oh my gosh.
The struggle question.
So obviously, I'm tiny.
Little, yeah.
It's hard to find stuff that fits me, especially when it comes to PPE.
Yeah.
The vest has always been an issue for me. Like right now they've got me in a small. Yeah. But it's got like those like adjustable like waist things. So like even when I adjust the waist, it's like all bunched up right here, and then it like flares out again, and it's still like makes me look like a goober. Yeah. And so I just kind of like cave up. But definitely the vest has always been my issue. Steel toe boots. I have the same pair of boots that I've had for the past 6 years. Dang. And they were men's, because the store I went to didn't have women's. And like I don't like the whole frilly glitter, look at me stuff. Yeah. And so I was perfectly content wearing men's. But it's always been the vest. Yeah. The vest has always been an issue for me.
I mean, I feel like some brands are trying to come out with, but it's not like offered within the company usually, because it's just you would have to order it online yourself. So.
And like this company, I haven't really broached the subject with them. Like if I found a vest that actually fits me better, would I be allowed to have that?
Oh, okay.
Because they're all they have the company name, the logo, the motto on them. So I don't know. I haven't broached the subject with them.
Makes sense.
Other companies I would order, like I found a purple one.
Oh yeah.
Because my favorite color is purple.
Nice.
And I found a purple one that actually fit me, but it only lasted like a month before it like snagged on something and just ripped.
Dang.
And
that sucks.
I see like they're trying, but at the same time, I don't think anybody really cares about us little tiny people. Yeah. And that's how all clothing is, though, when you're tiny.
Yeah. Especially if you're tiny and tall. They expect you to be short if you're little.
Yes, especially like pants. Yeah. Pants. Like I can find pants no problem here in Oklahoma. Right. But like where we're working, I can't find nothing in my size. Yeah. I can't find shirts in my size, hoodies. Like I can't find nothing. It's like you have no tiny people that live here. And so like if I need clothes, I come back home. Right. And buy clothes. Just because nobody really takes into consideration as awkwardly built, tiny, long-legged people.
Especially like, I feel like a lot of ladies' jeans are not like jean material. Yes. It's like jeggings or whatever.
Yeah. Like I don't want like a bunch of rhinestones and frilly stuff in my butt. If I gotta bend over and grab something, I don't want my butt like blinding somebody because the sun reflected off of it. I just want simple, good jeans. Yeah. I don't want, that's another thing. Like some companies, like assume that all women want the frilly, glittery, bright stuff. Yeah. Not me. Yeah. So that's why I end up like buying, rodeo pants sometimes. I haven't even tried men's. Yeah. Sometimes I have to go in the boys section though.
Yeah, I've tried the boys' jeans, but they're always too short.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah, it's a struggle.
I like my jeans bunched up.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to like sit down in my pants, like show my boots. Yeah. I want them all bunched up. Growing up in the rodeo family kind of deal. Right. I like bunched jeans. Yeah. And trying to find, like it's taken me, I think I found like 2 brands that actually take tiny waist long legs into consideration. And when I find them, I buy them all.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, do you post anything on social media that you want me to link in the description?
So I did post a lot when I was trucking.
Okay.
I haven't made anything in quite a while, just because, just for safety reasons.
Right.
I'm not operating a heavy machinery to holding my phone up.
Yeah, for sure.
And some of our clients have us sign NDAs.
Right.
And so I definitely have not posted anything in quite a while.
Yeah.
Like you can follow my TikTok. That's how we found each other.
Right.
But yeah, I just haven't posted anything in like almost a year.
That's fine. No pressure.
I'm kind of boring now.
I mean, like you said, you've got to be paying attention to what you're doing, so recording is definitely last on the list.
Yeah, you don't want to like be driving along and think that you just run over a piece of rock or something. It was actually a person.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so that's why like I take my job very seriously and don't play with my phone. I focus because I don't want to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
When
absolutely.
I'm in a machine that the tires are taller than me, I'm not going to play that around.
Yeah. And then any companies you want to shout out or anything else you want to add?
But I work for Morton's Construction.
Okay.
Best company I've ran into so far.
Nice.
And like I said, they're very women oriented. They don't like if you do electrician, plumbing, anything like that, you can get on with them.
Okay.
They literally like build anything and everything.
They do the whole package.
Exactly.
And they're based in Central Oklahoma.
They're based out of Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they got like 500 locations across the country.
Dang.
So I'm a traveling worker, and the kids come with me.
Okay.
And stuff like that. That's why I picked it, because my kids are homeschooled.
Right.
When I'm off, we get to go explore new places that they would never have been able to explore.
That's awesome.
If
I was
they're in public
homeschooled
school,
too. Yeah.
or I was working a regular job.
Right.
So that was like one of the considerations I took into before applying for this company. My best friend get me on, because his son is also homeschooled.
Okay.
And like, we get to go see different things, do different things. And like the benefits are absolutely astounding.
That's cool.
You don't run into that in trucking.
Right.
And, it can set my kids up for the future. My son, if this still is something that he wants to do when he turns 18,
right.
I can get him on with me.
That's badass.
Afford to put my daughter through college if she still wants to do tech stuff.
Yeah.
This is, a great way to take care of my kids. So
for sure.
If you are looking for, and they also do local stuff. Like they have some jobs here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You don't have to just do heavy equipment. If you do anything in construction or even like safety, office stuff, they take that into consideration as well. But yeah, as a woman, this is a great company to work for.
That's cool.
They really take care of you. They want to see you improve and be better as a person, mentally, physically, and in your job as well.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, not a
I'm
problem.
glad you drove, what was it, like an hour?
Yeah, it was about an hour.
Nice. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. All the links and products we mentioned today will be listed in the description. If you're a woman in a blue-collar industry and you're interested in being the focus of the next episode, or you're a small business that would like to sponsor an episode, reach out to us in the link below.